this is our second time that we've done this Member Spotlight. And first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Rob Fryer, Lisa Woolnough and Dave Mckinney. And they are the members today that are going to talk to you about their business. I'm going to ask the same question, in case you weren't here the last time. I'm going to ask the same questions in turn, in and around. It's very interactive. If you want to ask questions, interrupt, please do. It's an informal sort of chat, just to learn a little bit more about our members. So, without any further ado, introduction. So Rob, we'll start with you first. Introduce yourself and tell us about your business.
Hi, my name's Rob and I run a company called Brandstorm. I work out of the office just down in the bungalows here at Signal. And we help businesses grow their business into a really good brand and create that image that allows them to attract their ideal customers, basically. And we do that through discovery of who they are, designing the brand assets and the marketing material, and delivering on all the objectives they need, basically. So that's really in a nutshell what I do.
Brilliant. Okay, Lisa?
Hi, I'm Lisa and I'm a virtual assistant with Smart PA. So I work with small businesses like yourselves or entrepreneurs, and I deal with all the tasks that you can outsource these days, which could be admin, bookkeeping, call handling, diary management, event planning, travel management, social media management, transcription, document production, etc. So I work remotely. I'm literally 2 miles down the road in Whitehill, and that's what I do.
Great. Dave?
Hello, Dave Mckinney, Ace Cleaning. Probably, I think you might have mentioned that we're going to rebrand soon to Goldcrest Services, which Rob has done our rebranding. So if you are looking at rebranding, I'll definitely go and see this man. He's very good. So we are domestic and commercial cleaners. So we cover Hampshire and West Sussex. So we've got customers all the way down towards the New Forest, all the way up through Southampton, Portsmouth, up the A3 corridor. It sounds like they're really big, but they're not. They're a very small family-run business. It's myself and my son-in-law. Established 2016, and we are going to be rebranding to try and move on our commercial cleaning to try and attract the next level of customers, which for us are medium-sized commercial premises that want to outsource their cleaning.
Brilliant, thank you. So now we know what they do and who they are. Comes the next difficult question. Not difficult, first of many difficult questions. I'm going to start with you. Challenging, it's always good. I'm going to start with you, Lisa. Why did you choose the industry or the niche that you're in? What led you to choosing that?
Okay, well, I started last July. Prior to that, I've worked with corporate businesses, Xerox, BNP Paribas, companies like that. Always been in customer services or account management, different types of industry, asset finance, IT. But always with the customer's interests at heart. When I worked with Xerox, I worked from home, so I knew I liked working from home, but my stage of life I wanted to do something for myself. I love admin, which is weird, I know.
It's great.
Someone has to. I'm ultra organised, to a fault probably, and I just love doing.
Did you think that was just your natural, because you're doing something you love?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wanted to do it for myself, so the two went together.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. What about you, Rob?
I started colouring in, really. Basically, but when I was at school and stuff like that, I just hated doing exams, so I just chose the subjects that got me out doing exams, basically. And I just naturally enjoyed doing the art and design side of things. And then I left school with the intention of doing some engineering and doing that kind of thing, and then just went to the university course, did a foundation year at Oxford Books, and then soon realised that wasn't for me. It was just too technical, it was too maths heavy, it was too much of a brain mess. I thought, Christ, this is hard work, you know. Let's get back to colouring in, surely. So I decided to do that, did an HNC in graphic design, and after that got a job as a junior, and then went my way up the ladder, really.
Brilliant, okay.
So that was it.
Dave?
How do we get into cleaning?
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's a really good question. And my background's in policing, so I've been in the police service for 38 years. I got to that age where I thought I was going to retire, enjoy my grandchildren. And my son-in-law came to me with a bit of a business proposition. He said, look, I want to start up my own business. I'm thinking about buying a franchise. And my sort of ears sort of really sort of started burning. I thought, franchise? What do you want? What are we looking at? So he said cleaning, and I said, right, okay, let's come away from a franchise. Let's see if we can actually do it ourselves.
Right.
So 2016 we set up our own business called Ace Cleaning. Started off with no money, nothing, we didn't put anything in, and we just started off having a look at different cleaning companies, how they were doing it, and we just copied other people. And so we literally went out, Indeed, free, for anybody who's looking for staff, it's free. You can pay for Indeed adverts if you want to go to the top of the list, but we started right at the bottom, and we started to get people applying for jobs.
Wow.
And then we just literally went out to the marketplace.
So did you choose the cleaning because that was what was available on the franchise platform?
No, we chose cleaning purely because everybody's got busy lives. Everybody needs a cleaner, particularly in the domestic and the commercial world. So we've got quite a wide selection of private customers, from people with a one-bedroom flat up to 5, 6-bedroom houses, and exactly the same with the commercial side, from a small office to 16,000 square feet, which is an office we clean every single day down in Whiteley. And it was just purely the fact that we understood that people needed cleaners, and it was an industry that we felt, although we didn't have any experience with how to run a business, let alone a cleaning business, and we just decided that's what we're going to do, and luckily it's going really well.
Brilliant. It's really good that you've kind of, certainly both with the two of you, that you're doing something that you absolutely had a passion about and loved, and I suppose with you it was looking for a gap in the market.
Yeah.
And jumping on that and knowing that you could fulfill it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's good.
If there was one piece of advice, Rob, that you wish you'd been given before you started your business, what would that have been?
I think it's don't try and do everything on your own, really. It's like I struggled for quite a long time when I first started up, trying to do everything on my own. All the admin, all the other jobs.
Where does that stem from, though? Is that I can do it? I'm doing this. This is my thing, or
I just felt
I
just felt like I had to. I didn't really think I wasn't part of anything like this at the time and things like that, and wasn't getting that business advice kind of thing. I just figured there was no other option. As you move on, you suddenly realise, VAs and personal assistants, things like that you can use, and online tools that help you with your bookkeeping, that kind of thing. I was finding I was just wasting so much time doing all that stuff and not the actual
concentrating on what you wanted to do.
So that was a big sort of learning curve, I think, the early years.
What about you, Lisa? What sort of one piece of advice do you wish somebody had said to you?
Yeah, because I do a lot of social media and networking, so just to get my name out there. And it's the following up. I was scared to follow up to start with, and I think the advice would have been, don't be scared to follow up, because everybody should.
What was your fear? Why were you?
Rejection.
Rejection.
Yeah.
That's a standard one. Is everybody sort of on with that? It is, isn't it? You're just like,
So don't be scared to follow up, because people expect you to follow up to a certain extent if you're doing your job properly, and you do get yeses.
Yeah.
And did you find sometimes you get to a stage where you think, I can't follow up now, I've left it too late?
Occasionally, but I do still follow up. And funnily enough, this week, people that I've not written off, but I've stopped following up, have rung me and said, I'd like to use your services. And I haven't contacted them for the last 2 or 3 months. So, follow up so they get to know a little bit about you. And,
can everybody else relate to that?
And you might get a following up, that's fine, but it might not be no forever.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. What about you, Dave? What one piece of advice do you wish somebody had said?
I actually had 3 bits of advice, really.
Okay.
Sorry, but
No.
the first was to do as much research as you can. So, which is what we did when we decided to set up the business. And good business plan.
Yeah.
Was the other one, and make sure that what you're actually providing is financially viable. So, which is for a small business, it's really key.
So you mean mapping it out a bit more before
Yeah,
you actually...
making sure that, even at the beginning, because, as a new business, we decided to cut the price as much as we possibly can just to get clients, get some turnover and everything else, and I'm sure that resonates with a lot of people in here. And now that we have got a number of clients, etc., and we're going through the rebranding, really, Vanessa's talk last week was really timely for us, and so we've reset all of our cost model.
After the talk from last week,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
As part of our rebranding.
It's a good time to do it, isn't it?
Yes.
Fresh start, new look, new pricing.
And we're looking at around 40% profitability on our pricing. So that's taking everything into account. We want to make 40% from everything we do now.
Is that gross or net?
That's net.
Wow.
Net.
That's
So
good.
Is that what you
taking
took?
all our costs, taking all our costs out, everything out, stripped everything down. We've introduced that last week, and we're still getting customers.
Amazing.
Are you looking for investors? I would like a 40% return.
I'm sure you will. We'll talk afterwards.
But is that going from what Vanessa was saying last week, like outlining what you want to earn and working it back and seeing what you do need to charge to earn that?
Definitely. Well, one of the things I brought up on, I think it was Masterminds the last month, was did anybody have a good cost model, business model to work out all your costs and bits and pieces. Although we as a company use Xero, and Xero does actually have that ability to do it. But David Bailey put his hand up and said, "Oh yes, we would like to. Sorry, you can come and have a look at mine." So I was distracted by people looking at better. So I went and saw him, and he gave me some really good ideas. So I've taken those away, and then with Vanessa last week, the sort of penny dropped, and it's.
Do you know, it's really great to hear that from our perspective here running the hub, of you're getting those kind of from the mastermind, from the talks that we're doing, really structuring.
Yes.
It's heartwarming, I suppose, that people are really taking what we're doing and learning with it, which is what we're here to do, which is brilliant.
Absolutely hugely, because
it's really good, Dave.
Literally only been sort of trading 3 years.
Yeah.
I had no experience of running a business.
Yeah. That's really good.
So have you gone to your existing clients with the new pricing?
Not at the moment.
Right, okay.
These are all of our new clients.
Right.
Because we've obviously got contracts in place with our existing clients, when they come up for renewal, then we'll introduce the new pricing, we'll have that conversation with.
What's the hike are they going to have to?
So I can't hear.
When you put your prices up with existing clients,
Yes.
how much more are they going to have to pay? Because in my experience, it's been quite hard when you sort of start and you kind of go in a bit low, and then you've got to actually go, actually this isn't viable, and I'm going to have to put my prices up, and suddenly it's too much.
Yeah, I mean it can be as little as a few pounds, right up to nearly £100 on certain services that we do.
Does that depend on how hard they negotiated at the beginning of their contract?
No, it depends on the value of the contract.
Right.
Because we do so many different services, so we do things from an hourly rate for a domestic client to an end of tenancy clean for somebody who's leasing a flat or a house, and they decide they're moving on. We do a huge amount of those sort of cleans. So they can be anything upwards of anything from about £239 up to just under £600 a clean.
Okay. Pricing, I think, is one of the biggest challenges in business, isn't it? I suppose. Has anybody else got anything they want to sort of share at this point in relation to sort of pricing?
Just from experience, when you said that, I just wrote down to say to you, especially with existing clients, now's the time at this time of year. So perhaps do a standard price increase because of costs in the beginning of the year.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and one of the reasons why we
not the full hike.
No.
Do a step.
Yeah.
Then it gives you a bit of time that they already know, and then the renewals.
And to be fair, it's coming in line with our rebranding as well, because launching that rebrand. The rebrand is for commercial customers.
But for current customers,
Yes.
it's the new year.
Yeah.
To give a few
Yes.
percent increase now letter,
Yes.
they're probably more likely to accept it because it's the beginning of the year and that's normal.
Yeah.
Than if you rebrand and then go back to your customers because they'll just think, oh my god,
They're paying for his rebrand.
they're not going to go to them until late, till renewal.
Yeah, right.
That's all that.
Applying for a small rise to your existing customers so that they've already seen a bit of a rise anyway.
Yeah.
That's
That's good advice. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good.
Legacy pricing is one of those things which always trips up businesses because they're making a move, changing their pricing, but there's these people that are still getting the same service, but they're paying less.
Yeah.
So one of the ways I've worked with companies on this is you grandfather in the cost if they sign up for a year, and then at the end of the year the price will change to our new pricing model. Well, you can have that conversation if he kicks it for a year, but they know it's coming and they've had a whole year to get prepared for it, and especially if at the end of it you say we're moving to the new pricing model and this is what your costs are going to be, people are much more comfortable at that point because you've given them a year and it feels like they've got something even though it's inevitable that it's going up rather than the hard pricing. It also can be useful to do that if you want to get rid of some of the lower value.
Nicely put.
Sucking.
Do you ever find that, I suppose I'm thinking more sort of repeat business, so some of your contracts, that you kind of get it wrong sometimes and you think, oh, this is only going to take me this amount of time, this is going to be the cost. And then you go in and you find actually it's going to take you a lot more time. Because I find this quite a lot, because when you photograph a product or whatever, sometimes they're much more complicated than actually you originally. So you have the sort of price in your mind of shooting a product, and then you find that it's hugely complex in terms of texture and glossy or whatever, and then you find out.
Maybe Rob can answer. Do you want to jump in and answer?
I think it's a common question that comes up when I'm going through a rebrand with clients, especially in the early days, and they're very fearful of losing customers. Will they lose customers as a result of it? And the answer is yes, you will. You are going to lose. But that's kind of the point. You want to you're trying to get rid of the ones you don't really want anymore. And the whole point of rebrand is to raise yourself above them, so you're going at a higher ticket price basically, which they're trying to do here. So there is always that fear that you're going to lose customers, and I don't think you should be fearful of it. I think if you accept that you're going to lose those customers and you're going to win better customers as a result, then
I think it's also any change that you do in your business, like we've recently just changed moving the hub from a Wednesday to a Friday. There was a fear that some people in the hub couldn't make it on the way. We did a survey as much as you can. You can survey to death. You can. There's always going to be a few people that. So it's a decision that you just have to make. Sometimes in business you just have to make decisions that you think is going to benefit your business more. So you might get churn on that. It's a decision you've got to make though. It's tough sometimes. You get secure in your ways and what you do and what you charge and when you do it. But it's change. Change is good. Lisa, have you got anything to add on that?
I work on two bases really. One is a retainer, so people buy a number of hours per month up front. So when those hours are used up, which sometimes it happens, some people have busier months than others, I just bill at the hours they've used on top of that.
Can they roll the hours over or not?
Up to a couple of hours. Not too many because I might not have the physical time to do that the following month. Or I work on a project basis, which again I try and price it up front. But again, if it goes over, I just bill the hours on top that it takes. So I don't really have to absorb too much.
No. Okay. Right, moving on to the next question. I'm going to start with you, Rob. What one piece of advice would you give to somebody starting out in your industry?
It's a tricky one because what I found is I've learned more getting stuck in and actually getting the first job than I did doing the agency and things like that. I probably learned more in the first sort of month of my job role, first junior role, than I did in the 2 years I was doing the agency course in graphic design. And I think you need a bit of both, but I'd say just try and get stuck in as early as you can if you're trying to get into the design industry. because experience is crucial in this game really. And if you've got degrees in all this business and graphic design, but you haven't actually spent time in front of a Mac in front of your clients, then you're not much good to anybody. It's been my experience. And you can have all this sort of background knowledge about branding and colours and everything that you need, but until you've actually experienced that one-to-one client thing, I think you just need to get, however you can, get into a job role quick.
I suppose with your industry as well, it's very creative, so people can go off-piste, and you know, it's also learning to rein people back to their original brief.
There are rules to follow, but there's also creative, you know, there's room to be creative and room to express and stuff like that. So it's getting that fine balance, and if you're just sticking to the rules all the time and not deviating from the rules, it's learning how to break the rules, and sometimes, you know, in a good way.
I think you've always got to break the rules.
So it's just about, you know, but I'd say the best piece of advice if somebody's trying to get into the graphic design business is to just get stuck in and get a job as early as you can. And learn on the job.
What about you, Dave, in the cleaning industry? What's your one piece of advice that you would give to somebody starting out? Don't do it.
Come on, Dave. Your staff are the most important asset that you've got, and just look after your staff. That's our biggest challenge we have is reliable staff in our industry, because a lot of it is looked at very low wages. As a company, we don't pay the minimum wage, never have, never will. So we're always at the top of our industry in relation to what we pay our cleaners. And at Christmas time, we just did a little gift, and all it was a Christmas card, signed Christmas card from myself and my son-in-law, and a bottle of Prosecco. And we took it round to all the staff and said, thanks very much for all your hard work and everything else. And do you know what? The feedback from that was fantastic.
Amazing,
It really was. And that really, you know, it didn't cost a lot. What's a bottle of Prosecco? $9.99. And Christmas cards.
It's that feeling of people being appreciated and being part of your business as well. Part of it.
So you know, they are the most important, you know, asset. Really look after them. And take an interest in them as well, you know, from a professional point of view. You know, so when they have their illness and things like that, if it's, you know, if they go into hospital, just send them a card and say, look, get well.
That's really good. Good advice actually. I suppose also because your team is on site, so they're not in the office with you. I think it's quite difficult to run a team like that you don't see on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Really key.
It's because they're all over Hampshire. So they live in Southampton, they live in Portsmouth, they live in Petersfield, they live in Liphook, you know, Alton. They live all over the place.
Brilliant. What about you, Lisa? What one piece of advice? Oh, have you got a question? Sorry, Stu.
Point out that all businesses have a culture. It's whether you decide to take control of it and instill a good culture. And clearly, when you grow a business with staff that you need to be on board and focused and actively representing as ambassadors the company, that sort of thing comes from the top with little gifts and just acknowledging good work and, you know, employee of the month and all of those things. If used right and done well and sincerely, they can really make a difference, and they don't have to cost a fortune.
And just a little plug for Sarah. Sarah's sitting there. Sarah's really helped us as well, because I had a one-to-one with Sarah. So if you're thinking about having one-to-ones with your colleagues in Signal, do them, because it's really worth it. But Sarah's really helped us with some of those ideas, and they've really paid off.
Brilliant. Sarah.
Thank you.
Let's have a little round of applause.
I'm nagging
I was just going to say, the cultural thing as well, it's about actually communicating your culture, not also to your clients, but also for the benefit of recruiting people as well, because then you're going to attract like-minded people who actually sign up to your culture. So it's not a process of having to onboard somebody and say, well, actually, this is who we are. They've actually been attracted to you, and you can use your marketing to do that.
I think what Dave said as well, doing that, I've just written it all down here, because saying thank you to your staff, retaining your current staff, and also making them proud of working for you and what they're doing on a day-to-day basis is will make all the difference to the quality of the service that you are offering. And you're building a team and you're employing people, and you should pat yourselves on the back and celebrate that fact, because people are, you're supporting people and their families, and it's a fantastic thing to do. And the job and the whole idea of saying thank you very simply is it brings back more than you think.
Oh, it does hugely. Actually, if you're lucky enough to have staff, just appreciate who they are, and just give them just a slight reward now and then.
But I think we all like to feel appreciated. Doesn't matter who you are, as humans, we all like to feel appreciated. So just transfer that on.
For your business, employing those staff, it's not easy.
No.
All the background to doing that. So that's what I'm saying to you as a business owner in your team doing that. You need to give yourselves a really big pat on the back all the time about that, because it's a really good message.
Lisa, have you got anything to add in relation to what, in your industry, what piece of advice would you give to somebody?
Don't be afraid of hard work, or don't think it's going to be easy, because clients don't come to you on a plate. They really don't. You've got to go out there and find them.
Do you find your clients come to you when they are struggling themselves? So you've got to...
Yes, but only if they know you're there. If they don't know you're there, they're not going to come to you, they're going to go to someone else.
Right.
So that, and also to value your worth, because when you start out, you are desperate for business. You want your first customer, you want your second customer.
We've all been there, haven't we? Everybody, you feel that, you feel grateful that somebody...
And people will try and cut the price or say...
But I think that is the process that you go through when you're starting, you're very grateful, somebody acknowledging you, somebody wanting to use you. It's kind of like, oh, I'm grateful for that. But as it grows, then your confidence grows as well.
So believe in yourself, and it will be hard work.
Brilliant. Good.
Can I ask you why you chose the franchise model?
Probably because I got made redundant 4 years ago, and I seriously thought about becoming a VA then. I looked into it and I thought, what if I get it wrong? Don't know where to start. All of this, and then I found a job and it kind of went out the window. And I was just flicking through, basically, just surfing the net like you do. And this franchise, the word franchise came out at me, and I thought, oh, that sounds good. And I looked at different sorts of franchises in the finance industry that I'd been in before. They don't really, they don't really light up with me. And then I saw Smart PA, admin, yes, that's the one. And everything I got back ticked all my boxes. And I thought, okay, well, I can do this. It's pretty much there for me. I know I've got to do the work, but the contracts are there, the pricing's there, the branding's there. I can just run with that, and I know I can make a success of that. So I did.
Do you get the sense of freedom within it then?
Oh, completely. I'm currently working with someone in Argentina. There's no boundaries. The only boundaries are pricing and branding.
Right.
Everything else I do myself.
So to summarise for you, that gave you all the background that all the research you did, you got in a package so you could just start and do.
And I got 8 weeks of training, and I'm accredited to a certain standard, so I hit the ground running, pretty much.
I'm just interested in the difference, because you've just both chosen very different ways to go at it.
Yes.
I don't think there's a better one
I don't think so.
any better than the other. It's just, for us, it was...
Well, there were 2 of you.
Yes, it does make a difference.
That makes a huge difference.
It does, to balance.
Working on my own, I really feel that.
Right.
You're not on your own anymore there.
No, absolutely, which is why I'm here. So.
And I'm not really on my own, because there are 300 smart PAs around 15 different countries.
But you wouldn't have that without the franchise model.
No, no, and I can draw on their skill set and talent pool as well to use for my customers, so it works.
Good.
Yeah.
But just to counsel caution, 2 people starting a business can slow things down, because you are trying to come to an agreement, and if you don't very early on understand and trust each other's judgment, you can just get bogged down in an endless round of discussions, and I've seen it. I've absolutely first-hand watched 2 people take a really good business idea and spend 6 months sitting around a table discussing logos. It happens.
I've seen the opposite. I've seen 3 people set up a business, get it up, get it running, work really well for 10 years, and then...
I think it's complementary skills as well,
it
isn't
is,
it?
Absolutely. There's a great book called Rocket Fuel, and they talk about all of the companies that get successful have two types of people at the head. They have the visionary and the implementer. And the visionary is the person who says, this is what we're going to try and achieve. And the implementer says, this is how we're going to achieve it. And those complementary skill sets can.
So if you're on your own, you've got to do that.
You kind of have to be, you've got two hats.
We're going to get into some nitty-gritties now. Oof, I love the nitty-gritty. We're going to start with Rob. And I want you to describe a typical day in your business.
Blimey. It's very varied. No 2 days are the same. But typically it'll be sort of a bit of admin in the morning, a bit of emails, a bit of social, that sort of stuff in the first thing. Then getting stuck into some client work. That always, at the end of every day, I sort of listed down of 3 or 4 items I've got to do that next day. So I'm straight into a client job for the best part of the day, probably. But there's other factors. There's things that crop up. You're always getting phone calls. I try not to look at emails too much now. I used to be a slave to the email kind of thing.
We've all learned that, haven't we? We're not allowed to do that anymore.
So 3 times a day, I generally have a look at my emails.
So do you feel it's quite structured today?
Yeah, some days I try and make it structured. It doesn't always work like that. There is a lot of fight. This week's been example in point. Been a lot of firefighting, a lot of phone calls coming in. People wanting stuff tomorrow, or yesterday. And it's just working out how you can schedule those things in and around other jobs. I've typically got 2 or 3 long-term jobs on the go, and I've typically got little jobs that come in here and there that I can just try and squeeze in between those things, and it's just a bit of a juggling act sometimes to try and get those.
Yeah, I think it's quite a common denominator with all of us, really. It's a lot of juggling. What about you, Lisa? What is your typical day?
I'm good at juggling. So first thing, sometimes I'll either go networking, go for a swim, or go for a run. Then about 8:30, I'll look at my list that I've written the night before of the things I've got to do, a bit like yourself. Look at because I've got no end of email addresses for different clients. So I check everyone's emails, make sure there's nothing urgent. And then I'll crack on with the clients that have daily tasks, because some of them need half an hour here and there, but some need something happening every day. So I'll do those first, so I know they're done. Then I'll look at the emails again, get involved in maybe my biggest customer, which is 2 or 3 hours a day. Have lunch, afternoon, much the same, and then probably about 4 o'clock I'll have a look on social media, put out my posts, things like that, do LinkedIn, and plan the next day.
Good, that sounds really structured. I'm glad you've got a bit of exercise in there as well, that's impressive. You do
It
that.
doesn't always happen.
Well, as long as you're trying, that's good. What about you, Dave? How's your typical day look?
My typical day? Probably today was quite a typical morning for me, so literally look at what my client list is for today, make sure that the cleaners are in the right place, doing the right things. So before I came here, popped out, because we're doing a deep clean down in Liss, popped out to Liss before coming here, got down at 8:20, so I thought I'll be in the hub at about 10 to 9, get down there, problem, had to go back to the office, get more chemicals and bits and pieces, back out to the cleaners, give them the extra products that they needed to do this particular part of the clean, and then arrive here at 9:15. But normally it's just checking on what my jobs are, and then looking at new potential clients. So we're fairly proactive at the moment on trying to get new business, and then we do a lot of spot checking. So I do go out and see the cleaners, just double check they're there, doing what I'm asking them to do and what the client actually wants them to do. And I also do visits with our clients, and again, just to make sure they're happy. So a bit of customer satisfaction, that type of thing. And then the rest of the day is hopefully just getting new contracts.
Good.
So that's
because that came up in our roadshow talk. The most important thing in your day is, you should all know this, getting and keeping customers. So we've all got to factor that into your day somehow, somewhere, every day we've got to be doing that. So it's again structuring your day to make sure that we fulfill that. because you're going to get to the end of the week, I suppose, and think, oh, I actually haven't got on with that this week. I've done my jobs, I've done all the bits, but I haven't proactively sought to get new people. And that is the only way our businesses are going to grow.
I think over the course of a week and a month, it's booking in key conversations with people, booking in one-to-ones, booking in, if you go to networking events, picture the people you really want to speak to and booking a second sit down with them, because then that's when you really get to find out who they are and who they might be able to recommend you to.
Yeah. Are any of you using the diary to block out like points in the day that you should be doing things, as we've talked about previously?
I do.
Yeah. Anybody else in the audience? Is anybody doing that in the audience? Yeah. Blocking out time in your diary to make sure you do key tasks. Good. Good. So, what would your ideal day be, Rob? Okay, not in your working life. I'm not saying if you win the lottery, because we all know what that's like. Yeah, exactly. But how would your ideal day? I mean, are you happy with the day that you're doing at the moment, or have you got another ideal that you?
Yeah, I think less firefighting would be good, and I think that I'm working towards that at the moment. And that's all about sort of, again, ideal clients, for working out who I really want to work with, and slowly but surely trying to stack off the ones that are just zapping in my time for the minimum cost, So I'm going through that process at the moment, so hopefully that's going to help in the next year. But I'm quite fortunate. I love what I do. I love the designing process and things like that, and I don't want to shy away from that. People always say to me, why don't you grow your business into a big agency and become the person that manages all your staff? I wouldn't be happy doing that. That's the trouble.
No colouring in with that.
No colouring in with that, exactly, no. So, I do generally love what I do. I love the creative process. I love getting under the skin of the clients and things like that. So I wouldn't change that, really. And I've got no desire to grow into an agency that's employing staff and things like that. But something has got to change, and I'm trying to work a way that I've got to become the guy that's known for doing what I do, but also outsourcing to people that can do the job that I can trust. Yeah.
What about you, Dave? What does your ideal day look like?
My ideal day would be no staffing issues. Everybody's where they should be at the right time, and getting that email that comes in to say, yes, you've got that contract. That is my ideal day.
So I think, going forward, by what you're doing already, investing in your staff, investing in your teams, everything, as you grow with your team and they grow with you, you will probably get to that, I suppose, because you will rely on them, and they will not want to disappoint you because they're part of your team, and that's the point that you've got to get to, that they care enough that they're not going to disappoint you.
But of course, we're all human, aren't we?
I know, but
we all have
a big percentage of it.
A private life that actually sometimes is not in such a great routine, and then people fall over and they have to pick up pieces. But that'd be nice. Yeah.
What about you, Lee? Sorry, have you got a question?
Oh no, I was just had a question. Yeah. How much do you spend any time on learning? I know you were saying you're developing your staff. What about developing yourself in terms of? Because I spend a huge amount of time, probably too much time, learning new techniques and working on learning new software or whatever it is.
I do, definitely, because clients come to me with something and I'm like, not quite sure how to use that.
Do you do that? Yes, of course I do.
Amazing. I can get help from someone else. So it's all self-development.
That's a really good point, because I've always struggled with that self-learning, especially of IT. There's that mindset of, I don't know how to do this. My instinct is, who does? Let me just do it. And that self-learning of skills that you need to run your business outside of what you actually know is
because once I've learned it, you can bet your bottom dollar another client will want it in a few months' time. So I then have that knowledge. So.
I'm fitting in my personal development time in my morning routine, because I know that's the time I'm not going to get disturbed. So that's when I'm doing my meditation, I'm doing my sort of reflective work, but also doing some of my kind of learning time, because once you go and start the day, that's it. You're pulled by other people's agendas as much as you want to strive and achieve your own.
I think it's really important, particularly if if your business is one that you're able to adapt it to go into different areas. So, for instance, one of the reasons we've gone from Ace Cleaning to Goldcrest Services is because we're going to introduce new services. So we're no longer a cleaning company, so we'll be doing building and ground maintenance, we do clearances. So there's a large different, there's a number of areas where we're going to be, going into outside of cleaning. And you're absolutely right. We regularly get asked to do, oh, do you provide this service or that service? And my default has always been, yes, we do. And then I'll go and find out how to do it. And for me, because of the age I'm at, trying to put all the training into the son-in-law to say, look, we need, as a company, we need to understand this, and we'll source that training. We'll send, either my son-in-law or some of our PAYE staff on, just to get their skills up a little bit more, and then we can offer that service.
Yeah.
As a company that is trained and accredited in whatever that is.
It's also investing in people, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's important to do that. Definitely.
I was going to say one thing. The mastermind with the BiZHUB is just so valuable. It's just amazing, and but just knowing that that's there and it's continuing is just, having a mentor, maybe someone trusted, can be to develop yourself is I think really important.
Definitely.
Yeah, for me, the question is there is a element of improving what your skill sets in my industry and what I do, and there's the software packages that come out there, always releasing new things, new features, and just keep on. But the biggest thing I try and keep on top of is trends. Is what trends happening in my marketplace that I can capitalise on or need to know about to pass on to my clients, basically. And that's the biggest thing that I develop myself on, is keeping up with the modern day trends and what's currently right now, what's hot right now, kind of thing. And so I don't get left behind, my clients don't get left behind, kind of thing. That's the biggest thing for me.
You must find that as well, Lisa, with all the new software and all things coming out and different way people are working, for you to keep up with it.
Everyone works differently.
Yeah.
Even on the same software, people work differently.
Definitely.
So
just keeping ahead of it.
Yeah.
Good. Can you, I haven't had your answer to the question, what does your ideal day look like for you?
I think much the same, but less client delivery, because what I can do is I can account manage my clients and I can get other partners to do the work. Not all of it, some of it.
Yeah.
And then I can do more lead generation and networking, etc. So I'd probably like to just tip it 50-50.
Right, okay. Off the tools, not so much.
I do enjoy it, but when it's so full on, you don't get the time you want to do the lead generation. So I kind of squish in that into an hour, where I'd like to spread that out for 2 or 3 hours a day, and do the work for half a day.
Good. Has anybody got any questions?
I might have missed it, so I'm sorry late, guys. So we're talking about lead generation and blocking out that time and following that flow. Do you use any particular software to kind of manage your contacts and how you actually generate this? Pipe Drive is something I've heard of.
That's what I use. I use Pipe Drive. I started with HubSpot, but I prefer Pipe Drive.
Okay, and I know Pipe Drive is good for when you're actually setting up a deal, the tracking of the deal.
Yeah.
But what do you do to manage your contacts? Where do you keep
there's activities on Pipe Drive. Yeah, so you just load the contact and you track the activities, you move it on a day, a week, a month, whatever, and then it pops up.
We use a piece of software called ServiceMate, Service M8, and it allows you to put all your staff in there, allows you to do all your quotes, so you can send a quote by email through this piece of software, and then when the person comes back and accepts it, you can then just turn it into a work order. It also has the ability to talk to Xero, which from our point of view is really, really good. And that's the other piece of software we use, is Xero for all our accounts. We do also have we use a call centre as well. So rather than my phone just exploding all the time, hopefully, with lots and lots of contacts. It's amazing how many calls we get at 2 o'clock in the morning. I wonder what people are doing at 2 o'clock in the morning wanting to make inquiries about keys. But they do.
They spilt their wine.
And of course,
That's usually a mate who wants you. Have you got a spade? Maybe an old carpet.
So we do invest in a contract with a UK-based call centre to actually manage all of our every single call. So we don't answer the phone at all, and then pass emails on to us.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's an outsourced call service, out of area, location doesn't matter.
Location doesn't matter. So
and you just have set questions that they ask, qualified questions, and
absolutely.
That's really
Yeah.
That free up a huge amount of time.
Yeah, and that gives you a 24/7, ability. So if somebody does want a cleaner at 2 o'clock in the morning, they've got somebody to talk to. Like it's not us, but the call handler has a set number of questions and scripts.
So is that your after-party service that you offer?
Oh God, too many people turned up.
The other thing I'd just like to say also is don't be afraid to outsource some work. So if you get in, but even as doing PA and admin work, if you find that you're getting far too much work come in, don't turn work away, get it, and then collaborate with somebody else and say, look, at the moment, are you able to provide me with some help and assistance? Because what we found is a lot of times you get a customer, and a really, really good customer, and then they want some quirky service and you don't provide. But we'll say yes, and then I'll just outsource it, and I'll add 15% on. So I've got somebody else to do the work, and I'm getting 15% for literally just managing that subcontractor doing work on your behalf.
There's always a fear though that that's going to be really expensive. I think that, as a small business owner, when you're on your own, to outsource it, you think, it's going to just take so much of my money. No?
Well, it doesn't take any of my money. In fact, I'm earning 15% from somebody else.
No, I'm talking about the outsourcing. It's to outsource, like for the answering service and things like that.
Oh, sorry. I think you need to have a marketing budget, and you need to decide what your marketing budget is. How, because you need to make sure that your lead generation is actually, return on investment is there. So, you can't have, outsourcing, your telephone inquiries, whatever they may be, if every time you get a customer, you're losing money. But of course, for us, it's the opposite way round. So the cost of that service in relation to, the return on investment that we can do from getting a customer is actually quite significant. So it's definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it.
I think Lisa's point, from last week about what your effective hours are for, if you want to get the amount of hours you want to work that year, then you need to get the custom in, therefore you need to price higher, and then you absorb it within your
and it's 365 days a year, so if you go on holiday, you can still access it, you're still in communication with the world. So it does give you that ability, although my wife really hates it when you get the laptop out and things like that. No, we're on holiday. You have to be very disciplined. But
well, that leads me on to my next sort of line of questioning. Sounds like a line of questioning, but it leads me on to, as business owners, and this often goes hand in hand, what are your life goals? Because as an employee, I think you have a slightly different mindset that you just go and you're doing the job and that, but your life goals are often hand in hand with the question of what is your business goal? What is the goal for your business, the ultimate goal for your business? So I'm going to start with you, Lisa. Life goals for you.
Well, I only started last July, so I'm not expecting much yet. But it has started really well. So I think originally I said I'm going to put in loads of work for the first 2 or 3 years, and that's paying off already. And then I don't know, I haven't got a time frame yet, but the ultimate goal would be for the business to be ticking over with me, maybe 10-20% of my time stuck in, so that I've got the financial freedom and the time freedom to go off and do more travelling and swimming and stuff.
Yeah, good
stuff.
No, well, it's good. It's good to have that goal, though, isn't it? That that's what you want to reach. What about you, Rob? Life goals for you?
Yeah, I think the business needs to provide me the financial security that I can go and pursue things I want to do in my life, like travelling, like buying nice cars, that kind of thing. My dream garage in my head, and that sort of thing, and those sort of things I'm working. You have in the back of your mind always to try and work towards those things, and you're never quite sure when you're going to achieve them. But if you've always got that sort of that goal and you can visualise what those things are, I think it helps you sort of move towards it a little bit. So I've struggled with in the past to try and visualise these things, and I've been with 2 or 3 different coaches in the past where they say, think of the big, heavy, audacious goal. What's your big ambition? I've never been one to sort of want. I don't want £1 million. I want a mansion. I don't want all this thing. But what drives you? And it's finding that thing that really drives you and you want to have in your life. I think.
Can I just suggest get it out of your head though and get your colouring out?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You need to be able to see it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. My screensaver is my dream car every day. So every day I stare at this car. One day.
But it's quite good to have a visual like that, though, isn't it? Just to if that's what you want, have a good visual about it. Doesn't matter what it is.
What's the dream car?
The dream car is I can remember it was a weird number, but it's a Jag that was featured in the Bond film of the last Bond film.
Yes.
So bright orange, lovely. I can't remember the model number now because it's got some convoluted number, but it's
if
that
you
one.
want to do a vision board, I'm on the planning committee in our parish council, and there's somebody who had a planning application done, and they've got a sketch plan. They're doing their garage. They wanted something done to the garage. We were just thinking, what he's swank actually, because he had his diagram of his garage, and he keeps classic cars, which is quite in keeping with the estate that he has. And he had pictures of all the cars, and they were very expensive cars. And it's almost like you could cut that out, put it on your wall, saying that's going to be
That's
like
it. Yeah, exactly.
It's a nice image. These cars, the scale.
What about you, Dave? Life goals for you?
Mine is retirement in 5 years' time.
Good.
Fully retired.
Fully retired.
Well, I've already retired twice.
Makes perfect.
This is the third time lucky.
You're not very good on retiring.
I'm not. You know what? I am really so busy, not just in work, but other things that I do. I actually do sometimes think, can you achieve all this that you're doing? Yeah, you can, but you've got to be busy. But yes, 5 years, hand the business over to my son-in-law and my daughter, and then hopefully have some of the riches out of the company on a yearly basis. Don't know. Depends how well it goes.
It's really good though to have that
yes, 5
date,
years.
5
yes.
years, do it.
Yes.
Good. Really good. And this month we were talking about delivering value. That was the theme of this month. And I'm just going to ask you all a final question now, and then we can go to some questions if you like. But what are your values? I'll start with you, Lisa. What are your values to your customers, and how do you deliver them?
Okay, well, I think I can save busy people time, basically, like you were saying, on admin tasks and things like that. If you're not an admin lover, it's going to take you longer anyway. You're going to put it off to the last minute, and maybe it should be more priority. So I can save time. I can probably save money, really, because your hourly rate might be higher than what you can outsource for. I'm professional, timely, punctual. Everything is done to a deadline. So what you ask me to do will get done. And
good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's good. Rob?
Core values, honesty and integrity. So, I'm always honest with my clients and things. If they've got a really bad idea, I say it's a bad idea. I'll tell them why, and don't just knock them down. But explain why and why it may not be the best route for them, and suggest an alternative. And I often show them that kind of thing. So, and what I always said, I want to be an agency that's not an agency, because I've worked in the design agencies before. In my career in the agencies, and what I found was as the bigger agencies got bigger, and the designers were kind of like secondary in the process. We were kind of kept in a back room somewhere, and we were given the information sometimes sort of third hand, while the account handlers were going out meeting the clients, having these wine and dine sessions, getting the brief, and then going back into the into work, having an internal meeting about what they thought the client really wanted, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then they brief the designers, and the designer would go, okay, yeah, we'll do that.
That was a Chinese whisper.
A Chinese whisper kind of thing, and then we did the work, and then the designer's job to then present to the client. The client goes, this isn't quite what we asked for, you know, and that's what was on the brief. And quite often it happened quite a lot of times is that we showed them the brief that I've been given, it wasn't the brief that they originally set, and it was kind of like, that's really awkward from my point of view. So when I left and set my own business, that was my key drive, to have that one-on-one, make sure that my client had the designer one-on-one feedback sort of thing.
Okay.
Rather than working with middlemen.
Yeah.
If you like.
So from that point though, how does your business grow, or do you just see your business just as you?
I think it's got to change, and I'm starting to use more and more freelancers now.
So how are you going to cut that middleman? How are you going to manage that? So if you're going to use designers, are they ever going to get like in front of clients, or how you?
I think eventually they have to, but it will all be driven through me. I think I'll be the sort of driving force between both people, so that I'm always there, but I'm always showing them who they're working with.
Yeah.
They need to know from the outset who they're going to work with. So if I go to a client meeting, and I'm planning to use a designer, I'll bring that designer into that meeting.
But that's a really good point of experience, because you've been on the other side of it, you've seen what doesn't work, so you're bringing that experience to your business so that you can make it work. Yeah, that's good.
So yeah.
Good. Dave, what about you, about delivering value? How do you deliver value to your clients?
So for us, 2 really, I suppose, or 3. Happy staff, because if you've got contented staff that are trained well and actually want to work for you, they'll do a better job. Giving high quality cleaning, and then beating their expectations. So the client has a particular expectation of their cleaning and their cleaning company, is actually exceeding that expectation, not just for them but also for their staff and their customers.
Yeah.
Because I think if you go into a business anywhere and you look and it's really pristine, clean, gleams, it's really nice nice environment to walk into. You think, do you know what? These guys must be really, really good. They must be, delivering. They do, not about the cleaning, but the company itself. Yeah. And I think, from our point of view, it's being able to walk into those environments and say, yeah, we've helped them to create whatever they're doing.
Take photographs of your afternoon.
Yeah, we do. Yes.
Because that's a narrative, isn't it? Because that's, as you said, it's actually reflecting on branding as well.
Yes.
You look at the part that you're playing, you work the prices you're charging. You're part of that delivery for them, aren't you?
Yeah, we do before and after, and I have some fantastic before and after photographs I can show you at some stage, perhaps in the future. But you wouldn't believe what we have to keep.
I would.
No, you wouldn't. Or how people live. That's the other thing. People are living in these.
Well, that's the end of my questions to you. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't covered that you want to add into things that we? No, you're good. Anybody got any specific questions that they'd like to raise? I think we've covered quite a lot, but have you got something, Sarah?
I had one question, because everyone's talked about working hard, and when we're talking about scheduling time in our day, honesty, how many hours a week on average do you think you put in? And that includes the times when you work after hours or a Saturday, because as you're building, we're all talking about putting a lot in.
Yeah.
We're honest, how many hours?
From the outset, I've always had this thing that I'll work as many hours as possible that I need to during the week, but I will never work weekends, because that's my time. That's my time, and I am guilty of working late nights, things like that during the week. I'm here often until 7 or 8 o'clock at night, most evenings. And that's mainly because that's how I prefer to work sometimes. But I find I'm most productive between sort of like 4 and 8, because the phone stopped ringing, the emails stopped pinging, that kind of thing. Everybody's left the building, and it's a quiet time. I can just get my head down and work on something for a good amount of hours. That's the reason for that. But I think it's having that dedication that you say, right, I'm not in work mode today. On Saturday, on Sunday, I'm not in work mode. This is my family time. to do what I want to do, and I've always had that ethos. You know, if I go on holiday, my phone's pretty much turned off the whole time, and that sort of stuff. So, but I will work on it as long as I have to during the week, you know, to get stuff done.
I've got a question for Dave. Do you have a challenge with what I call flaky staff? Because rather like the care industry, it's like, oh, I can't get a job. Oh, well, I can always do cleaning. I can always do caring. Do you get that, or do you shed that at the interview level so that you've got, you know, a stronger quality?
It's actually quite difficult to do it at the interview stage because of the type of industry that we're in.
Yeah.
So if I get bad feedback from clients, because I'm regularly asking for feedback from the clients, really important. If you've got new staff, got to identify.
Yeah.
What I also do is I also do the first clean with all our new staff.
Oh, wow.
Always do it, and I've done that right from day one. So
it's really good that day. It's really key to do that.
So I know right almost from the outset if they're going to be any good.
Yeah.
If they're not, they go.
No.
You just have to.
Because I just know somebody in one of the franchise cleaning, and that was her biggest nightmare.
Oh, staffing.
Absolutely.
And reliability.
Yes.
Is massive in our industry. Reliability.
And it is an attitude around the fact that it's like, well, anybody can be a cleaner. So that's why people will just think, well, I need some. No, I know, but you know what I mean from a point of view of just somebody saying, well, I'll just have to become a cleaner then.
And the other thing, which I understand, but it really is for our industry. There may be other people here who, if you hire staff, you'll find this out as well. Unfortunately, our benefit system in this country is such that actually they have to show that they are actively looking for work. So we have a huge amount of time wasters, huge amount, who will contact us, but spend hours arranging to meet them, etc., and they just don't turn up. And then you think, you're another one of these benefit people. There's nothing wrong with people on benefits, don't get me wrong, but it is,
it's just that culture.
We were talking about this, weren't we? Looking at open days rather than individual interviews, and either people show up on time or they don't.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because
it is very tricky.
Ended up doing that whole interview day, a really basic admin job that was really way beneath her, but she needed work, and then spending all day, and then the final interview, being told that she's overqualified, and a whole day had been wasted, which was obvious from the CV. There's no intention, and it's a balance.
Two-way street, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a balance.
I mean, the CVs does help you actually hugely, particularly in our trade, in our service. If you've got somebody who's with lots of experience, there's 3 questions we ask: how much experience have you got as a cleaner? Have you got a driving licence and means of transport? And have you got disclosure of barring certificate, which is basically vetting. They're the 3 questions that we ask on every single advert we put out. And if they meet the first 2 but not the 3rd, that's fine. But if they don't meet the one in the middle, then they're no good to us.
No.
But I noticed, I worked that you said about people working out people quickly. I watched my now ex-husband do that with his business, and it took them several cycles round before they realised that if it's the wrong person, get rid of them quickly.
Yeah, you have to.
Trying to get them to step up or trying to do extra training, all those sorts of things just don't work. If they don't fit, and it's not personal.
It's like customers. It's like saying if you don't have your ideal staff or your ideal customer, sooner or later, something's going to happen.
And whether
you need to know pretty soon when you've got the type of
and whether they're employed staff or you're outsourcing to other people to do a similar job, you just got to try before you buy them once, and try a few people out. I've gone through quite a few freelancers in the past, and I said to people, I've tried them out. You just don't quite get it. Surely, am I briefing wrong, or am I doing this wrong, or you just haven't got the talent that I need? And I stopped using freelancers after that sort of process because I got fed up with it. I thought I can just do it myself quicker and I can less hassle and that sort of stuff. Then I found one that I found a couple that I really could trust and did a good job. And wow, this is what people outsource to, because there are people out there that aren't very good at what they do, and there's people that are good at what they do, and it's just finding those people that really know what they're doing, and you can trust.
I was going to say they're outsourcing to, say, writers, copywriters and so on. It's amazing how often I've come across people where I've said, would you write this blog title or whatever? And they've gone, yeah, fine. And they haven't asked me any questions. And it's just like, how are you going to do that if you don't know what my objectives are, what business is, all that kind of thing. So, it is making sure that you don't sort of take a sort of almost like a knee-jerk reaction and go, oh yeah, I've got one now. It's actually making sure that they actually want to qualify themselves by actually asking you questions as well.
I think with what I was going to say to Lisa, because out of all of this, how important is clear communication?
It's vital. It's vital. I mean, I follow up my leads. I finally get the client. The first thing we do is have an onboarding call, which could be up to an hour long. I learn their mission, their objectives, all about their business, how they like to work, and the work they want to pass over to me. And all that's free of charge because it's so important to understand, and they need to understand that I understand. And then we start work.
And what I'm saying as well with the staffing, doing the first cleaner stuff, how important it is for them, your potential client or your person, to know, for you to communicate how you work, what you're happy with.
I mean, my goal is to work how the client likes to work, but I'm readily available. I report once a week so they know where the time's been spent, and I make sure they're aware that if I don't understand, I will ask. I won't just run with something and spend their money. I will ask.
Clear about how you like to work,
Yes, we have that conversation in that free time. Sorry?
Do you have a package system so that they understand which package they're falling under and what their expectations are going to be within that package?
Yeah, we have that discussion as well. Depending on the work they're looking to outsource, we have a discussion of how long that's going to take them on a monthly basis. Do they want something done every day? Do they just want the hours over the month? So it could be 1 day a week. We have that discussion up front,
Right, that brings us to the end of the Member Spotlight for this month. Thank you so much, Rob, Lisa and Dave. Let's give them a round of applause. It's great to be able to just get a real insight into other people's businesses, how they work. It's brilliant. Thank you very much for your honesty. Brilliant, thank you.